Hello everybody, CritCrab here with the tale of the rise and fall of what OP describes as the simp player who is ruining his campaign. Roll post. I am honestly at a loss for what to do in this situation, but this story gets creepy. I'm DMing an online homebrew campaign for D&D 5e. The campaign is supposed to be about my players fighting a dragon cult that occupies a chain of islands. The idea is that they have to go from island to island taking on progressively harder dragons until they reach the big boss, but let's just say this took a bit of a turn. The party is me, a DM, Don, a chill dude playing a blood hunter fighting demons who have allied to the cult, Mark, a crafty player who plays a dragonborn sorcerer who left said cult and is back for revenge, John, a great role player having fun with a seducer bard. Funnily enough, the seducer bard is not the problem or even the horniest party member. Then we get Logan, our druid, and the problem of this story. For some context, I have played 2 games with Logan before, one as a DM. Things went well when I DM'd, but as things went on, I started to notice that his characters always seemed to have a woman that he would be insanely loyal to, and he always expected romance. Our biggest problem arises when I started my current campaign. 2 of our characters, Bard and Bloodhunter, are female. I should have seen what happened next coming, but alas, I did not. As the campaign starts, Logan's character began to wild shape into animals to follow our Bard around and makes an incredibly forced attempt at romance, pressuring John out of game to return the advances. The seducer bard went to seduce a man in order to rob him, and Logan makes absolutely sure that we know that he's watching in animal form. After that session, Logan dragged me, kicking and screaming, back into the chat with Don and John for some post-session RP. The dude starts reading an article about how likely it is to get someone pregnant and basically begs me to allow him to impregnate our bard. They literally had barely any friendship established, but he demanded to RP the night to see what happens. This RP is the weirdest and most unconventional thing I have experienced in my 18 years. This might also be a good time to note that Logan is the oldest guy in the group by over 10 years. His character shows up to the boat that Mark's character stole from a pirate extremely drunk and starts loudly asking for a 3-way with the 2 girls. They kept refusing, clearly uncomfortable, but he drags this out for 2 hours. Having failed to impregnate our bard, he shows up to our next session and announces that he has a new character. He did not ask me about this in advance. This new character is a paladin who apparently was assigned to protect our blood hunter and has devoted his life to her. Side note, I later found out Logan never even asked Don if he was allowed to insert this character into his character's backstory. This character being there actually ruins the Bloodhunter's backstory, as she was supposed to be isolated. Back to the story, the Bloodhunter rejected the romantic advances of her bodyguard, who wouldn't let her speak to other men without his permission, and he decided that since our players weren't biting, he needed NPCs. This is where the creepiness turns up to 11. I receive a Discord message after the session where Logan says that his paladin has the knight background and thus has access to 3 retainers. He asks for 3 teenage girls as young as 13 to be his servants. I hard deny this and haven't heard from him yet. Sorry the ending wasn't super climactic, but I need your advice, dearest CritCrab server. How do I handle this? End post.
The beacons have been city! The beacons are lit!
OP.
Great! Muster the
Comments section. And so the CritCrab community responded en masse, but before I tell you of the council's final verdict, here's something you need to know about crabs, and especially the crab watching this video right now. Crabs are sexy, intelligent, and know exactly how to get right to the heart of the situation. So how did the crabs respond to such a plea for help? Beautifully, just beautifully. Roll the comments. This dude needs a fucking therapist. Inserts boss music. Simp. Wait, why do I hear boss music? Kick him out of the game. Super creepy and he's just going to cause more problems. As he's a pally, make his 3 retainer nuns with a very, very strict vow of celibacy, and they will pray to have his powers taken away if he tries anything. The comments went on, and it got to the point where OP had a long and insightful discussion with a crab that has an actual psychology degree, but the general consensus was to kick him out or at least have a serious talk with him. What did OP end up doing though? Let's find out. Roll post. After the events of my last post, I had a long talk with my Blood Hunter player whose backstory was ruined by the Paladin. The Paladin decided to bring back his Druid character after one session of playing his Paladin, but insisted that the Paladin remain an NPC in the party. My talk with the Blood Hunter concluded with the player asking to switch characters to avoid the Paladin. I decided that it was bullshit that our Simp player could just change character, ruin a good player's backstory, and then switch again. I told the Blood Hunter to wait it out one more session and the player agreed. In the next session, an enemy from our bard's backstory returned to attack the city with the cult. During the attack, I made sure to kill the Paladin, who was now under my control as an NPC. The Druid, who had also played the Paladin, confusing I know, kept healing the Paladin instead of our other players, despite the fact that his characters did not know each other at all before the fight. 0 words between them, but the Druid used every single spell slot to heal the Paladin, eventually resorting to using Spare the Dying on him and leaving to join the fight. The rest of the session went pretty well though, until the fight ended and the party returned to the tavern they had been using as their home base. The Druid player DM'd me on Discord with a love poem he left for the bard that was creepy as hell. Here's an excerpt. I met you pink and dispassionate towards me until I grew fur that made you happy. Making you happy while such a small thing woke up a part of me for years I haven't seen. As my heart beat a deep thump in my chest, looking upon you did take my breath. He then announced his Druid was leaving the party again. Believe it or not, I was actually going to try and accommodate this. I have never kicked a player and did not want to be mean. But the final straw came when he began trashing other players to me. He kept saying that my friends were bad players and that he hated our monk player who recently joined. At this point, I was finally done and I told him all of the issues we had. He went into a f***ing rant across all of our servers, calling me a mean bully and trying to guilt me while also insulting me and blaming me for everything. I removed him from our game and I've already recruited his replacement. End post. Honestly, OP did what was best for his party. He tried to be nice about it, he set boundaries and even accommodated that guy when he was less than pleasant. But when push came to shove, he held his ground and plucked the weed out by its roots. I hope and fully expect that his group have a lot of fun and much better times ahead without him. So OP, if you're hearing this, good luck and have fun. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories just like this one. Till next time.